Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gomansing. In our top story, we're getting closer and closer to the general election. In fact, early voting starts next Saturday. But as you plan to head to the polls, don't expect to see one election equipment that officials have been trying to educate voters on. That's after authorities have decided not to use one particular machine. News 2's April Knight has details and updates on election preparations.
After holding some demonstrations of the new express vote earlier this year, election officials said the new machines will not make an appearance in the November election. For the primaries, election officials said the new machines were not used because they were not programmed in time. They did say the machines will be ready in the general election, but now that's not the case.
Well, since we didn't use it for the primary, there was, concerns that we should use the same machine in the primary and the general election. So some of the board members, that was their stand, and that's what we're going to do. That was a concern. I'll cry from the public when we went to the senators, when we had a hearing back in middle of the year. That was the same outcry that we should use the same machine for both elections.
When asked if the express vote machines are usable in spite of the decision not to use them, election supervisor Carolyn Fox said no.
No, it's still not usable.
The new machines will have to wait until the next election 2 years from now. But preparations are coming along, according to Fox. She said the ballots were ordered and are expected by the end of the week.
In St. Croix, we had over 16,650 ballots. In Thomas St. John District, 17,600 ballots.
Fox also reminds voters to be mindful of their polling places, as some of them have been closed and merged with others. There's also one new polling place on St. John.
In St. John, we now have Calabash Boom. Make sure they pay attention to the polling places that have been consolidated. First day of early voting is what we want to make sure we remind folks of. 22nd of October. We're trying to encourage folks to come out and early vote.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Again, early voting begins on October 22nd. Also, watch out for the list of polling places which will be publicized by the election system in the coming days. In other news, the VI government is reminding consumers and retailers alike, starting next year, those plastic bags should be phased out. A legislation proposed by Governor Mapp was approved by the Senate, and it means a significant chance at the change at the checkout line. News 2's April Knight has more on the ban on plastic bags.
Local VI retailers are facing major change starting next year when Governor Mapp's ban on the use of plastic bags take effect. The administration has been promoting getting rid of plastic bags for months now. In June, officials testified in favor of the bill.
The intent of the bill is to discourage the everyday shopper from utilizing these single-use type modes for shopping, and we want to encourage the use of reusable bags. So if you do come to a store, and you happen to forget your reusable bag on that day, recyclable paper bags will be available for you at some cost.
According to the governor, the option now for retailers is to use reusable bags or recyclable plastic bags. There are exceptions to the ban on plastic bags. One of those is products that require plastic packaging, and there's no other substitute. That includes meat packaging, garbage bags, and yard waste bags. But the change will take a toll on local stores whose cheaper option is plastic bags. That's why the government said the new law takes effect on January 2017, but they're not taking out fines until April to make sure that businesses have a chance to comply. The new law is part of the governor's waste minimization effort. 2 other bills are geared toward that goal. One deals with reducing the waste stream and the other mandatory recycling. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
We will keep you updated on the status of the 2 other bills under the governor's waste minimization effort, which included provisions for reverse vending machines. Well, turning to crime reports, police say on October 10th, Ted Williams was arrested for drawing and delivering worthless checks. Mr. Williams signed an agreement with a real estate agency to purchase property. Here's more.
Mr. Williams wrote a check in July of 2015 for $200,000, in September of 2015 for $350,000, and in May of 2016 for $400,000. The realtor made deposit to her account, and each time she was informed by the bank that the account did not have sufficient funds. And investigations by the detectives in the Economic Crime Unit revealed that Mr. Williams never had the funds available. Mr. Williams was placed under arrest after detectives from the Economic Crime Unit executed an arrest warrant. Mr. Williams was taken to the Rainbow Building in Frederickstead, where he was booked on unable to post the $75,000 bail set by a Superior Court magistrate. He was transported to the Golden Grove Adult Detention Center.
Police say on Monday, October 10th, 34-year-old Nisha England of Bovoni was arrested and charged with third-degree assault. The victim stated that England cut her with an unknown object to her face, neck, and hands. The victim was treated at the Roy Lechner Schneider Regional Medical Center for a laceration to her face, neck, and several cuts to both hands. On that date, Nisha England was present at the Criminal Investigation Bureau, where she was Mirandized. The England waived her rights and admitted to cutting the victim with a box cutter. Bail for Nisha England was set at $25,000. District Court Judge Curtis Gomez on Thursday sentenced D'Angelia Di Quintana, 30, of Flint, Michigan, to 6 months in prison for possession of marijuana with intent to distribute. According to court records, on Wednesday, March 2nd, 2016, Quintana arrived at the Cyril E. King Airport in St. Thomas from Atlanta, Georgia, on a Delta flight. U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers made contact with Quintana as she approached the carousel. Quintana was taken to secondary inspection, where CBP officers searched her bags and discovered a large bundle of plastic in each bag that contained 19.5 kilograms of marijuana. Quintana admitted that the bags were hers. Virgin Islands Puerto Rico Friendship Day celebrations ended yesterday. The theme this year is the new generation, continuing the tradition. On St. Croix, the community capped it off with a big celebration at the boardwalk in Christiansted. The community came out to enjoy the live music and sample traditional cuisine. It was a family affair and a time to meet up with friends. Residents could be seen dancing on the streets and hopping from one stall to the next. They ended the night with live entertainment from Puerto Rican bands. Meanwhile, on St. Thomas, the VIPR Friendship Committee, they also celebrated with a festival in dance at the Royal Center for the Arts on Monday. The dancers ranged from Cuban and Republican Dominican to Puerto Rico and Virgin Islands. There was a serenade by the Superior Court Rising Stars Youth Steel Orchestra, the Mungo Niles Cultural Dancers, the Caribbean Ritual Dancers, Guatique Ballet Folklorico de Puerto Rico, along with its folk orchestra. They opened their presentation with a solemn celebration of the Virgin of Mount Carmel. Special lecture demonstration by Guatique was held at the St. John's School of the Arts today, which was a highlight for 60 students from Julius Brow and Gift Hill School. A genealogy talk of finding Virgin Islands family roots in Cuba is coming up this weekend. October is Family History Month, and it's the perfect time to get started on your family tree. The Caribbean Genealogy Library in Alcoen's Plaza will have 2 events this month, one on October 15th at 2 p.m., entitled Finding Virgin Islands Family Roots in Cuba. Stephanie Richardson and Larry Sewer will discuss their Cuban connection and their travels to Cuba. Friends and members of the society recently visit the cities of Santiago de Cuba and Guantanamo, where they met descendants of Virgin Islanders and pledged to assist them with their plans to contact family members here in the VI. And then October 29th at 2 p.m., there's a beginner's genealogy workshop. Be sure to check that out. The 2016 election is no longer just Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton after a Monday meeting where House Speaker Paul Ryan told House Republicans he is going to focus on preserving Republicans' hold on Congress and will no longer defend the Republican nominee Donald Trump. And he's hitting back at the GOP. Diane Gallagher has the latest on today's Republican infighting and what the impact might be on the election.
Donald Trump is a free man. That's at least according to Trump himself, who shot off a series of tweets Tuesday, including this one. Quote, "It is so nice that the shackles have been taken off me and I can now fight for America the way I want to." Trump fired off roughly half a dozen tweets attacking the GOP, calling them disloyal, and the party leader, Paul Ryan, referring to him as weak and ineffective just one day after the House Speaker said he'd no longer defend or campaign for Trump, Ryan telling others in Congress to do what's best for them. And while dozens of Republicans are jumping ship,
when Mr. Trump attacks women and demeans the women in our nation and in our society, that is a point where I just have to part company.
others are sticking with Trump.
If we're going to move a conservative Republican platform agenda, the best way to do that's with President Trump.
But some are worried about the scorched earth civil war strategy he seems to be embracing.
His fight is not with them. His fight is with Hillary Clinton, and that's the message that he's got to continue to embrace.
Meanwhile, as new polls show his numbers dropping, Trump, both online and in person, appears to be trying to set a new narrative for his supporters.
And we have to make sure that this election is not stolen from us and is not taken away from us.
In Washington, Diane Gallagher.
Keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. According to the numbers there, we can see everything down. The Dow down 200, NASDAQ 81, S&P 500 down at 26. Coming up on News 2, we have much more straight ahead, including the latest on hurricane relief efforts in Haiti. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Due to unforeseen circumstances, the Virgin Islands Transfer Centennial Commission, the public forum, scheduled to take place Wednesday, October 12 on St. Thomas at the Earl B. Otley Legislative Conference Room, has been moved to the Ruthie Thomas Auditorium, which is located at the Sheldon Molly High School, same date, Wednesday, October 12, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. This public forum is a great opportunity for members of the community to engage in dialogue with the Commission as they discuss plans made for the centennial commemoration and also seek the public's input. And if you want to sign up to volunteer, it's a perfect time to do so. A big birthday shout out to Mrs. Edna Carty, born October 10th, 1915, and just celebrated her 101st birthday. She is the 8th of 9 children born to John and Mary Quealy on the island of St. Kitts. Her family says she truly embodies the term, "it takes a village," literally, as she cared for dozens of her nieces and nephews growing up, earning her the nickname Auntie. In 1940, she married Alcide Vincent Carty, now deceased. They parented 11 children: Edwin, Ralph, Calvin, Eleonora, Nola, Rosetta, Slador, Glenville, Terrence, Marvin, Carlene, and stepson Alexander. Mrs. Carty is very proud of her 44 grandchildren, 59 great-grands, and 11 great-great-grands. As a devoted member of the Christ Church Methodist St. Thomas, she gives thanks every day. Happy birthday. Mother's Choice Inc. has been around since 2004. They have done outreach ministries, back-to-school giveaways, summer camps, and more in the States. The woman behind the scenes is Nicole Richardson, who also does an annual women's conference in the U.S. This time, she brings it here to St. Thomas. The VI Women's Empowerment Conference will be held on Saturday at the Marriott's. Registration ends on Thursday, so you can call 678-448-2853. That's 678-448-2853 to participate. A grand lineup of talented women are scheduled. You can see them right there to present, such as Allison Hines. There will be prizes, giveaways, and music by Poison, Spectrum, and live DJ music. We will have more on Wednesday's newscast. Well, in other news, are you ready for a great comedy and musical that will have you tapping your toes? If you have seen Sister Act, you know what to expect. Now, a local production at Pistarckle has already opened, directed by Frank Bartolucci. It runs October 14th, 15th at 8 o'clock, 16th at 2 o'clock, 23rd, 22nd, 29th, and 30th at 8 o'clock. You can call Pistarckle for more information. Here's more.
It's a fabulous, fabulous show. It's set in the 70s, so if you like disco, it's disco music. And we've got a great cast of 18 people. And I think people are going to enjoy this show. And it runs all 4 weekends in October with a Sunday matinee the second weekend in October.
Dolores is actually played by Natalie Opoku, who's from here, who actually came back on island to fulfill the role. She's an excellent actress. Definitely want the entire family to come out. It's a very family funny production.
Great musical. I have some fantastic voices, a great choir, sound that you will not believe. Pistarckle Theater is located in Tillett Gardens. Tillett Gardens, for those people who may not know where it is, it's across the street from Four Winds Plaza.
Be sure to check out the great local cast as they put on a wonderful production. Some news to report: the Allure of the Seas has canceled its port of call to St. Thomas that was due on Wednesday, October 12th, due to the effects of Tropical Storm Nicole. Virgin Islands Port Authority Executive Director Carlton Dow said the ship has been rerouted to avoid inclement weather at sea. The Allure of the Seas is an Oasis-class vessel owned and operated by Royal Caribbean International. The ship carries up to 6,296 passengers and 2,394 crew. Meanwhile, helping our neighbors in Haiti due to overwhelming response and the rain, Haiti relief efforts will continue Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 2 to 6 p.m. at Tutu Park Mall. They are calling for more volunteers to help pack the trailers and more boxes, food, water, flashlights, batteries, much items and more. Many showed up at Tutu Park Mall, and that will be the very same location. The relief efforts is a combination of community organizations coming together to include Kappa, Smith Bay, East End Rotary, Sleepy's Trucking, and the churches. Remember, for monetary donations, you can send it to the Paradise Covenant Ministry. Meanwhile, United Nations World Food Program distributes food to victims of Hurricane Matthew in Haiti. Severe agricultural losses are expected in Haiti, according to preliminary surveys, with almost 100% of crops destroyed in Grand Anse. And Hurricane Matthew will also cause massive damage in the eastern part of Cuba, leaving whole communities in need of assistance. But despite difficulties in reaching stricken areas due to road damage, initial food distribution started in Haiti this past weekend in the two most affected departments, South and Grand Anse. Some 8,500 people were provided with food rations from the WFP. Governor Pat McCurry announced Tuesday morning that there are now 14 storm-related deaths in North Carolina following Hurricane Matthew. There were evacuations in few counties. Eastern towns could experience flooding throughout the week. Around 326,000 are without power across the state. Federal disaster declaration received for 31 counties. Declaration also approved for 10 counties for individual assistance. The governor has received a federal disaster declaration for 31 counties, opening the door for further federal assistance to recover from the massive flooding caused by Hurricane Matthew. And what's happening with us weather-wise? We heard that rolling of thunder last night. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast comes your way next.
Well, we've definitely seen an increase in shower activity. In fact, we picked up around 3 inches of rain over the past 24 hours, and that's because as we take a look at the satellite, we're sitting in the inflow band of what is Hurricane Nicole that is heading towards Bermuda at this point. Now, as we sit in this band, we're seeing some of these showers and thunderstorms around the island, definitely an uptake in moisture during this time. That's going to continue over the next couple of days until Nicole really speeds away off into the northeast. Now for tonight, we'll continue to see some spotty showers around the area. Tomorrow, we'll see a shower or two, and that continues for St. John as well as into St. Thomas and down into St. Croix as well. Temperatures sitting in the mid-80s. for your Wednesday. Now, as we take a look at the Atlantic side of your marine forecast, there is a small craft advisory. Now, these winds out of the southeast are 5 to 10 knots, so nothing too uncontrollable, but the waves, because of Hurricane Nicole, 4 to 6 feet, that's not too bad, but these swells are reaching up into 8 feet, and that is what is causing our small craft advisory. That extends into Friday morning as well. Now, on the Caribbean side of things, much nicer weather. If you want to head out to the beach, this would be the place to go. The rip currents will be less, but there still is a chance of more dangerous waters as that water is stirred up. 3 to 5 feet for your waves. Winds out of the southeast, 5 to 10 knots. Now, as we move into your extended outlook, Wednesday and Thursday, we'll continue to see showers. Wednesday, definitely seeing more of a chance of that shower activity as Nicole's inflow band still sits over the Virgin Islands. But come Thursday, as Nicole begins to break up, we'll start to see a little bit less as far as shower activity goes. And by your weekend, we are sitting back into a normal trade wind pattern with just a spotty shower or two. Back to you, Sandy.
Thank you for that. Time for our News 2 weather picture there by Kamar Samuel, a 5th grader representing Alfredo Andrews Elementary School on St. Croix. And Kamar loves our VI weather. That's so nice, including all that sunshine we always get year-round. Little showers here and there we're contending with, Kamar, but, you know, we still get our sunshine every now and then. Thank you for that. Send us your News 2 weather picture to the address on the screen. Be sure to include your name, age, school, and a description. Tune in to see it right here on News 2. That is all for now. Thank you for joining us for all the latest. I'm Sandra Guman Singh. Have a wonderful evening.